All right, Danette, let's take a look at your paper, MLA format first. Things are good here. Things are good here. Macbeth the Torturer. One, we wouldn't need the comma there. This is essentially the topic of your paper. So, I don't know, it's not the strongest title in the world. Then you get into some very vague statements about people who inflict suffering, which is essentially, again, the topic, that people hurt each other. And you give lots of different examples. People who inflict pain and suffering. Some of these people we know personally, like families. Some people intend to do good, and others are only looking out for themselves. And then you get into your topic. Macbeth, in Shakespeare's play Macbeth, embodies a man that is building himself up at the cost of others, and he does this by using extreme measures. I'd be very specific with that. I really don't I think we get a sense for what the main points are going to be, so I'd want to be specific with that as well. So anyways, try to make sure that you are very clear with where your paper is going to go, and I'm going to get to that when we get to the first body paragraph here. So Macbeth is the creator of much suffering on the people around him, and that suffering leads to his downfall. Inside and outside his kingdom. Now, this is where I think you really need to be specific, Danette, with your main points, because we're going to talk about this as we get again to your first body paragraph. But your thesis has got to be more than just he makes people suffer and that leads to his downfall. Because he makes people suffer, what is that ultimately showing us maybe in the end about him as a character? What is Shakespeare's greater recognition of a theme here? That's where we want to go a little bit more with that thesis statement. I'd love to see this introduction a little bit longer. You know, when you write for the actual test, you can get away with making it shorter, but this definitely needs to be a little bit longer. All right, so first body paragraph. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with this. Okay, so Macbeth removes him from the throne. What we're missing here is a strong topic sentence, Danette. First and foremost is a strong topic sentence. I need to know where you're going here. I'm not sure why all of a sudden, I know you're focusing on the people that are the object of Macbeth's suffering. The idea that, I don't know, he's the creator of much suffering. And this is where a stronger topic sentence would go. Because this paragraph really is about Malcolm, essentially. Donalbain a little bit. But essentially it's about Malcolm as the object of his suffering, which is fine, but here's what I'm not exactly sure where you're going with this. So the suffering Macbeth inflicts on Donalbain and Malcolm represents the pain within the birth of New Scotland. Now, this is an interesting concept, but this has to do with sort of the inside of his kingdom, I guess, but you didn't give any indication that this is where you were going with your paper, because this is almost like a really interesting geographical, sociological look at the suffering, which might be okay, and I haven't read the rest of your paragraph, but I have a feeling that the rest of it is not about this geographical whatever. Now, if your thesis statement led down that path, like maybe that Macbeth's people that are inflicted of Macbeth's wrath often go through something about large changes or something like that. I don't know. Maybe then this would make a lot of sense. But the whole old and new Scotland thing, I don't know. I'm just not buying it. The crowning of Malcolm and his actions of changing the Thanes to Earl, no comma, represents a new age for Scotland, no comma, with many coming changes. Now, you say something later about if Malcolm had not suffered, no comma, and fled to England, then the Thanes of Scotland would have remained Thanes, no comma, instead of becoming Earls in the end. Now, there's nothing wrong with being Earls. It's just the English version of Thanes. So it's not a negative thing that they become Earls. So I wasn't exactly sure where you were going there. But to tell you the honest truth, I have no idea really where this body paragraph is supposed to go. Really, the focus is on Malcolm, which, again, if up here you made it seem like you were going to focus on, the people that were the object of his wrath and his pain, which is fine, but I don't get a sense of that in a strong topic sentence. I don't get a sense of that at all with what you're trying to say in here, and I really don't get a sense of that with the whole Old and New Scotland thing. I don't know how that ties into here. Anyways, Danette, I'm lost, and maybe I don't get it, and maybe you need to explain it to me a little bit better, but I'm not exactly sure where you're supposed to go here. Not a strong transition sentence here, because you talk about that it was when Macbeth was crowned king. When he was crowned king, with his crowning, Macbeth's mind took a new turn, inversing the power and the relationship between him and Lady Macbeth, changing her behavior and inducing trauma upon her poisoned mind. A, that's a mouthful. B, this is really about Lady Macbeth. So really, this transition should be more about Lady Macbeth overall. So let's look into your next. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Get rid of the spaces in between these. So this space, get rid of all of those in your embedded or in your citations. All right, Danette, still a little unsure where we're going with this one. Okay, so this is about Lady Macbeth. Number one, I think the way that you want to reword this is you want a comma there and want a comma there. I think that's how you want it. Inversing the power and the relationship between himself and Lady Macbeth, comma, changing her behavior, comma, and inducing trauma. Is that a list that you're trying to get across? This is an awkwardly worded sentence. Is forever imprinting on her mind's hand in blood. On her mind's hand in blood. I get it, in blood, but it's just awkwardly worded. That won't come out, damn spout, out of her mind. I don't know. That's just really awkwardly worded. So I would reword that sentence. She's shocked. She attempts to change Macbeth's mind, but she does not succeed. That's later on. That's earlier, so that's even before this quote. As guilt, she loses herself in her anguish. While Lady Macbeth is conscious, she is in control and she appears to be a relatively normal queen. So this should be a comma. However, in sleep, she exposes everything. So this would be a comma as well. Oops, right there. The Confessions by Lady Macbeth, no comma, exposes Macbeth and his reign over Scotland coming to an end. How? Maybe foreshadows instead of exposes? Because the forces are against him by this point in the story. I mean, the English forces are already going to attack. Macduff already wants his head. I don't think that exposes him to the doctor, I guess, but that's about it. The Thanes have already left, are leaving him by this point. The poison that the Macbeths, it's not possessive, created is destroying them. So this is maybe the start of analysis, but then you just repeat or add a quote in here from the story. Their unnatural deeds breed the unnatural troubles that they can't get away from or fight against. Okay, I get that, but how does that relate to this? Okay, go back to your thesis statement all the time, Danette. How does this relate to your thesis statement? I'm not going to say that this isn't analysis here at the end. I think for the most part, this kind of is analysis here. But I don't know how it relates to your thesis or what you're ultimately trying to prove. Is it about foolish ambition? They made a pass of themselves, leaving a rope to pull them back down again, and Macduff is the first to grab that rope. You have way too many comma conjunctions in here. Sorry, let me back up. You have way too many commas. In foolish ambition, they made a path to the top for themselves. I don't know, I just feel like you have too many. I think you need to break this sentence up. He's the first to grab that rope. I don't know exactly what that means. And maybe you'll explain in the next paragraph, but I think that's a weak transition. All right, here we go, Danette. Macbeth never trusted Macbeth, semicolon. He always questioned Macbeth's motives, leaving one to wonder. That's odd. If Macduff knew the real Macbeth all along, why? Again, why are we saying these things? Is it about trust? So on his quest to convince Malcolm to return to Scotland, this is a modifier problem. So it should be, your next thing should be Macduff. On his quest to convince Malcolm to return to Scotland, Macduff does something, but you switch it around and now it's Macbeth. So you have a wrong modifier here, or at least pronoun antecedent problem here. So he unleashes his madness. This is plot. You have space issues here. You have space issues here. I mean, even done. Like, why quote the word done? I don't know. Yeah, I would just not quote it and use a different word. Macduff calls on the gentle heavens. So this is all plot to set Macbeth within his sword's length. Again, I think your embedded quotes need work, Danette. I think you're trying to do too much. Like, try to find 3 or 4 words in a row that would make sense, or 3 to 4 words in a row that would make sense as part of a embedded quote, and stop trying to do like 1 word, 2 words, 1 word over and over again. Now, here is you trying to get into analysis. The death of Macduff's family embodies the dying of Scotland under Macbeth's rule. So this is almost getting back into the whole old and new Scotland thing that you were doing in the first body paragraph that you didn't touch at all in the second body paragraph. He becomes more impulsive and violent, thus becoming an unjust ruler. Well, because he becomes more impulsive and violent, he is an unjust ruler. So I think I'd reword that a little bit. Scotland is dying because Macbeth must control everything about her. He has to see and know everything. So this is a semicolon. Here's 2 sentences here. So you have a comma place. She no longer is the land she used to be. Why are we talking about Scotland as a girl? I mean, not that you can't talk to her about as a girl, but how is this significant to the thesis? How is this significant to answering the question that was laid out in front of you on your assignment sheet? What does this have to do with anything? I just really think we need to work on this thesis and how you're going to back it up. All right, so remember your thesis is going to be underlined when you repeat it in your conclusion. You are going over your main points again, although you could be more specific. The tortures that Macbeth induces on those around him, no comma, results in his own collapse, ending his reign of terror. This is essentially your thesis statement repeated again. So not a good last sentence. You definitely want to work on that. You got some space issues here. But other than that, your works cited page is correct. All right, Danette, we're focusing on strong thesis, backing them up in the body paragraphs, and then supporting it as best you can. Please come ask me for help. I don't think we really talked too much in the lab this time around, but come talk to me. I want to make sure that you're getting better. So good luck on the rewrite.